What you know you can't explain. But you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong. You don't know what it is, but it's there. Like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. Experience the awakening. Brilliant anonymous researchers. Patriots, join us in the Patriot Army. Trust the plan, pain coming. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go. RedStateTalkRadio.com, Brighteon.tv, Rumble.com/MG Show. The end won't be for everyone. That choice to know will be yours. Where we go one, we go all. Fight, 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 and fight we will. We fight every day right here on the MG Show. Wow. Wow, guys. Welcome to the MG Show. We no longer have a Heidi Groove. Shady, welcome into the show.
I said it's just you on camera from now on, sir.
No.
Oh, no.
We've got Yeti back, and he runs a tight ship. Thank you, Yeti. I hope you had a great anniversary. We all love you, and thank you very much. And please, if you want to keep Yeti doing this show so we don't have Heidi Groove anymore or all these different mistakes, please donate because, we'd love to realize that he is indispensable to the show. We know that now, and for sure. But guys, we'd love to give him a little bit of a raise, wouldn't we?
Yeah, we really would. At one point, we're thinking that like it's too much hair. It's just like stuff is everywhere. But then you start to realize, hey, wait a minute, I kind of missed the hair. So yeah, and not like a rabbit hair.
I missed the hair.
Hair rabbit, like hair fur on the Yeti.
We had a wild hair.
Yes, but you fix that.
Happy belated anniversary, Yeti. We missed the Yeti. Thank you, Yeti. Thank you. Now, those thanks go well, but you know what? Would even go further if you guys would donate. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. The Rumble stream makes you guys look better. Thank you so much. So the cameras, we're getting feedback that the Rumble stream that we did direct from studio, our cameras look better. So I don't know.
That's
we'll have to.
Great feedback.
Yeah. Wow. All right. So thank you guys. Kimmy Mac, thank you also contributing to the Yeti Confetti. We love the crew. Thank you. Confetti. Real Iron Eagle. Thank you. Cram also YT. See, I say it backwards for you, Cram. Real Iron Eagle, another week of winning. Boom, boom, boom. Yep. Kimmy Mac. Yeti Confetti, $10. Thank you. President Hugh, thank you for, we already knew we needed him. $1 Rumble Rant. Thank you. Because if everybody did $1, wouldn't that be great?
Man, I'm telling you right now, guys, it's like the winning is, you got the front row seat right here to the winning because it's like there's a lot of people out there in the MAGA universe that are very, very confused about what's going on. They're chasing their tail, so to speak. And it's very interesting whenever we're kind of standing back and watching it with all of you guys because it's really nice having company. The two of us kind of feel like we're in the living room watching all these idiots with you guys out there on Twitter try to like gin up a narrative or completely lie about this or make this story up or do things discreetly out in front on TV. It's like the craziest thing that we're watching. So thanks to each and every one of you for being part of the family here at MG Show that gets to actually be the front row seat to all of this stuff because everybody else, it seems like, Jeff, they're trying to put you in a different theater or something. Like they don't want you to really see what Donald Trump is doing and they don't want you to really know what he's actually accomplishing.
That's right. You know, it's actually Q told us about it. 17
correct.
Patriots for Truth, no tax on tips. Thank you, EMP Hands. One gifted subscription. We got Landers here. Landers is off today, and you get to listen live.
Ooh,
Welcome.
nice. Welcome live.
And you get a little shout out for that too. A little loving from the MG show. G Brothers, thank you. Nicole Tarina, thank you for the Yeti confetti $1 Rumble Rant. Appreciate you guys. And Brown Win was gifted a membership by G Brothers. So we got everybody helping each other. And what that membership is, it's a red castle. And that red castle means that you're not naked. You know what I'm saying? We need not naked people in here, which means that you guys are helping us as well. DQ says, Yeti, hope you enjoyed your weekend with the love of your life. That's awesome. LL Ann says, thanks and God bless. We're awesome. You know, you guys are awesome. Thank you guys for that as well. That was a $5 Rumble Rant. All right, so we're going to kind of get into it because, you know, we missed a little bit of President Trump, but I tell you, some of this needs to be watched because it's pretty damn amazing. Your president is now signing an executive order for cashless bail to stop, guys. You know, and Judge Janine, you know, pointed out rightly this weekend on the weekend shows that the cashless bail was the start of the downgrade of our society.
Yes.
Okay. You know, you hit somebody, you create violence against somebody, you knock them down, you get arrested, and you're out in 4 hours. You know, that cannot happen, okay? If you do something violent against somebody, you pay for it. If you steal, this is how I grew up, Shady. If you steal something, you pay for it. You either get arrested or you get taken back to your mom but with the 5 and dime saying, hey, your kid stole some bubble gum, and here it's back, and you get reprimanded that way. But we need to get proper parenting back in this situation of what we call America. We need to get proper punishment for crimes that are being done in this beautiful United States. 0 murders in Washington, D.C., guys.
So one thing I want to mention real quick is that we're right now currently what's been going on is, you know, Jeff said it a number of times, you know, your introduction to communism 101 here for the 4 years during Joe Biden. We're paying the price for stupidity. And I want everybody to understand that. The whole country is paying the price for stupidity. The stupidity is that nobody can realize that whenever somebody says that we're going to like implement cashless bail, that's a Marxist dream, okay? Yeah. The way to, how do you best engineer turning the criminal into the victim and the victim into the criminal? This is what they're doing. This is what Marxism is. You get all these people out there that will never ever tell you and explain to you what exactly it is. It's the destruction of your ability to defend your person and your property. In other words, you don't really have any property because the king system, in the system of the kings and queens, you don't really have any property. You see, in the system of law and order, you have property that you're allowed to defend with force and vigor, and not only vigor, but extreme vigor if they come on to your property. So right now, Jeff, and I'm telling you, man, you know, we talked about this a number of times, but Janine Pirro, you want to talk about central casting for this job? You know, part of the reason that I loved watching The Five and don't watch it so much anymore was because of her. And now look what she's been able to do. And this is absolutely the cornerstone of the degradation of your society. There has to be punishment for criminal activity, and it has to be real, and it has to be in real time, and it has to hurt your pocketbook.
That's right. So we got an executive order signed for no cash bail, like cashless bail is ended. Okay. And if you are a state, a blue city, probably, that doesn't end it, you will pay. Okay. He also signed an executive order to formulate with the DOD and the DOJ a National Guard task force, guys, investigating public, violence and bullshittery, I guess we'll just call it. And he also signed an executive order for prison time, 1 year for burning our beautiful American flag.
He has the courage to do it, and he's actually spending the political capital to do it, everybody. No one else had a backbone. What you're learning right now is that no one in your political class has a backbone. And what I'm hoping is happening is that a lot of people in America are starting to get sick of it, and they're going to stand up. And you could easily, if Donald Trump does do something crazy like gets rid of mail-in ballots, we might be able to elect some people that actually represent us out here in Oregon, and California ranked choice voting stuff might fall away. I don't think the Democrats can win another presidency, everybody. I really honestly don't think from where we sit right now, because they didn't stop doubling down. We're almost a year since Donald Trump won. We're almost a year since he beat him, and they're still doubling down.
And I think we also have a developing Q-proof saying the midterms will be safe, okay? Because in California, by August or September, I can't remember the date, you have to have a real ID in your driver's license, guys. So if you're in California and even though you don't have to renew your ID, you're going to have to because of real ID. Also, they're talking about watermarks on the ballots in California. I think we have a developing Q-proof that the midterms will be safe this time and not last time because of the moves and counter moves by the deep state by implanting Biden as your president. So, Cat Father, I didn't want to miss you. Cat Father with a $2 Rumble rant and says,
Eggs, Shady.
He wants to talk about eggs. Well, eggs are great. The prices are super low. We should all really actually be in the egg distribution business. Like we all should become egg brokers. They're so cheap.
Yeah, exactly. Egg dealers.
Egg dealers.
Hey man, you want to buy some eggs? Man?
Yeah, you want to buy some
Right.
chicken
All right, so
seeds?
let's get into this a little bit. This is the President Trump signs executive orders. Let me get to where it starts. Hang on one second, because I like to watch not little clips. I like to watch our president, and I like to watch our president with you guys too, because we see things that we didn't see, maybe just watching it by ourselves. Shady.
Well, listen, I'm going to tell you right now that a lot of people out there are missing a lot because they don't watch him, and this is historic. What we are going to do during the time that Donald Trump is in office is every single moment that we are watching him work, we are learning. Each of you are learning something. You're learning how to interface with this world. This world of psychological operations is attempting to completely distract you. Now they're trying to say that there's old MAGA and new MAGA. Okay?
Yeah.
See what they're doing? All these different narratives. I'd like to just really quick before you start this, I'd like to say to everyone, Ghislaine Maxwell said there was no list. I want you to understand this. Ghislaine Maxwell said that there was no such thing as a list of people or whatever that they're blackmailing. I just want you guys to understand that. Like that's she's saying a lot of stuff, but she's actually saying it under oath over there, and she's actually coming out and looking around and thinking to herself, man, oh man, what in the world have I done, and how did I get this far involved in it? And the people that were screaming and yelling about this Epstein list, this proves without a doubt that at least there is no evidence that they could have possibly been pointing to that they said that there was a list, because there's still, even now that she has made these commentary, no quote-unquote list other than the black book that we already had unredacted and the flight logs that we already had unredacted, which were the only things that any of us could ever truly point to as any type of list.
And Ghislaine Maxwell also said that Bill Clinton didn't travel to the island. So, she did say that Jeffrey Epstein and her were involved with the Clinton initiative. Bill Clinton is the target, Democrats. You better watch what you hope for.
I mean, I think that's the biggest thing right there. Better be careful what you hope for. Because in all reality, it doesn't really matter who was at the island. What matters is who we can prosecute for criminality, and that type of stuff there's so much more to do than the things that happened 30 years ago, man. I mean, they did plenty of criminal activity in the last 10.
And again, by listening to some of that, Shady, our theory that they used fake victims of Epstein to do like basically your J.G. Wentworth payout, okay? So let's say Jufrey, let's just use her for an example, got paid a $20 million payout, but that was over time, so she wanted $5 million now, so they would pay her $5 million, and then they would keep the $20 million. You see, they net $15 million to funnel to these deep state Democrats and deep state GOP people. Yeah. I think that's more online as follow the money is what Q said, not follow the no victims at Epstein's Island and can't prosecute anybody.
Man, I mean, I'm telling you, it's gaining steam, because it whenever you talk about the most simplest explanation is the most likely. They were basically, you could see this whenever Trump came out and said the whole Epstein case was a hoax. What's he saying? Yeah. What were they doing? Was Epstein working with the FBI to create the Epstein hoax? You guys, I mean, like there's a number of different things that we could be looking at here, and it really does look like there's friendships between Epstein and a number of people in law enforcement, not only just the CIA, but also the FBI. So, like what you're saying, ginning up all of this talk and then getting people to give large sums of money and having everybody standing around with their hand out to have the money put in their bank account sounds a lot more plausible than some of this other stuff we've been talking about.
Yeah. Rock Chip says, rewatched an MG show and noticed my thumbs up was blank. Retract it? I put it back on. That's odd. That's odd for sure.
Wow. That's interesting.
Texas Patriot JB, sorry guys, better than nothing. $2 Rumble rant. Hey, wood shavings make a wood pile, you guys. Oh my God, speaking of wood pile, Whips and Spur, winning is a beautiful thing. A $50 Rumble rant. Thank you so much for that. Wow. All right, here we go. Shady Groove, good points there. Let's get into my president, your president, Donald J. Trump. Oh, and by the way, we're going to talk about how 10% of Intel is going to the United States government. Everybody thinks that's communism, but that's, if you know your history, if you know your Pandora's box, Shady Groove.
Yep. And also, if you understand what Q said, because Q said a number of these different, huge, massive companies were going to become public utilities. Wouldn't that be a public utility?
Interesting.
Interesting, yeah, but don't pay attention to the things that were told to us about Q because we had an idea of how the country should be run. The bottom line about the whole thing with Q is Q understood how the country should be run, and all it had to do was say, this is the way we're going to do it.
That's right.
That's what we're doing.
And boy, I'll tell you, there still is a huge... How come I can't change my volume here?
Oh man, why not?
There's a huge, Q discredit campaign by Tisha Ree and Godfroy. I bet there were Democrats this whole time, Flynn operators. Guys, it's all happening right now. And then somebody says, Q was confirmed as Mossad, proven. It was never proven as Mossad. By who? By what? I can prove that it is closer to a Mossad than a Q. You guys are insane. And you guys are losing. And the fact that you guys have to still attack us over Q today, Shady Groove.
It proves that I was right to throw you to the curb.
Yep. Boom. Here we go.
Your whole little horde of minions.
Donald J. Trump.
It's like you can only tolerate stupid for so long, and then you got to realize it's not stupid. It's intentional.
Yeah. Fighting Irish says, bullshittery. Is that a word? It is now.
We coined it.
All right, guys. Well, let's catch up with our president, Donald J. Trump, in the Oval.
The word of the year is panicking.
We've had a lot of important days lately. But
I thought it was tariffs.
That's the word of forever. That's the best word ever.
Thing called crime. And in particular, violent crime. Today we're going to be discussing it. And I watched as a very incompetent mayor from Chicago said, well, what do they know? They only arrested 9 people. I said, 9 people? We didn't arrest 9 people. We actually arrested a total of well over 1,000 people. We took hundreds of guns away from young kids that were throwing them around like it was candy. We apprehended scores of illegal aliens. We seized dozens of illegal firearms. There have been 0 murders. It sounds sort of terrible to say. It's embarrassing. I did this over the weekend. I'm making a speech, and I acted like I was so proud as I said, we've had 0 murders in the last week. And some of these people were from foreign countries. They said, that doesn't sound so good. And I said, well, it doesn't sound good, but Washington was the most dangerous place in this country. And now, you know what? It's probably the safest place in our country. Everyone's starting to come here. The restaurants now you can't get in. Many of them closed because they couldn't open with crime. Everybody before me is happy what I'm doing. Most of you won't say that because you're radical left. The newspapers are so dishonest. The press is totally dishonest, but that's all right. We've got used to it. And we won in a landslide, so they obviously lost their power. I mean, it's impossible to imagine that when you get 97% negative stories, purposely negative stories, even though you've done 97% positive things, that you could win an election in a landslide, winning all 7. Think of it, all 7 swing states, winning by the popular vote by millions of votes. We had it fantastic. The best is your districts. Out of 3,000 districts, I guess we won 3,500. We won 2,750, and they won 500. And that's, to me, the best of all. And we had tremendous in every way, the election. And it's hard to believe you can do that when you have a corrupt media. But many of you are corrupt, and it's nothing we can do about it. But we keep winning, and we're going to keep winning. And this whole story on crime is incredible that the Democrats wouldn't be with us. So the mayor of Chicago, I watched him this morning, he said, Trump doesn't know what he's talking about. He only apprehended 9 people. Well, number one, that's false. It's thousands. We'll get into that. But more importantly than anything, we took guns away. We have some of the worst career professionals out of the country already. They've been taken out of the country, and some are in solid confinement because these were killers. We arrested some very bad people. And in the last 11 days, again, I hate to say it because it sounds so ridiculous, but in the last 11 days, we've had no murders. And that's the first time that's taken place in years, actually years. We always have a murder a week. We call it a murder a week.
Man, I mean, this right here, guys, so, you know, how many of you remember when you were young and how it was in America in the early 80s whenever you would go to a city? Almost every single city was the same. You know, do you remember being able to walk around in the city? Do you remember being able to like go into stores and out of shops and like and park your car on the street and not even really think about anything? I mean, I feel like I remember a time. I feel like I remember we didn't even lock our cars. I know we didn't lock our houses, but we didn't even lock our cars whenever we were young. Why not? Why were we not doing those things? Because we didn't think someone would take it. And why wouldn't someone take it? Someone wouldn't take it because they had plenty. And I want you to make sure you understand this, because the crime is connected to something else. The crime isn't necessarily connected to people that are hoodlums or thugs. The crime is connected to people that have nothing and people that don't have an opportunity. When I say nothing, I don't mean money. I mean opportunity. They don't have an opportunity. So if you don't have an opportunity, what are you going to do? You're going to do what it is that takes you to survive. And you can't really hold that against a lot of people. So we have to reorient our minds in the way we think about this as we move forward and we talk about crime and reassessing what it is we're putting people in prison for. Millions and millions of people being shoved into prisons for possessions of cannabis over the last 30 or 40 years or so has not really done society that much good. And in this meantime, you've been letting out, I think California's let out some 50 to 60,000 violent criminals out of their prisons. Why would they do that? They would do that so that they would have assets in the field to be able to control so that the gangs could move the drugs more easily. Okay. And the people that were susceptible to crime are the people that have nothing. And so they're going to immediately start to go to the drugs to start to deal the drugs. So how do we stop that? What do we do? What do we do to stop that? What we do is we give opportunity everywhere. We show an example of how you can clean up a city in real time. Today's world, one of the nastiest cities we have in America, Washington, D.C. Let's show everybody how we could clean that up. And let's see if we can inspire some political will around the country, because Donald Trump can't do everything. You're going to have to do something. And each and every day that he stands up there and he shows you an example, every single one of us should be tipping our hat to this man and tipping our hat to the idea that someone somewhere has the cojones to stand up and to give a decent example of what it means to not only be American, but to be a freaking human being.
And, you know, I'm from Chicago, too, and it's a beautiful city, but it's been run by communists, Shady, literal communists. Lightfoot is related to a communist dude that tried to run for mayor named Lightfoot. I mean, it's just insane. And I love Chicago, and I want to see it great again. And the Trump Tower, it's probably the most beautiful building in Chicago. You know, you got the Sears Tower, you got the John Hancock, but, you know, that Trump Tower is beautiful.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And people can't go to see it because they're scared to death of the city. I'm just imagining a world where, where the cities are modern and we're driving around, and everybody's like getting along and nobody really wants to tear each other's head off because everybody has the opportunity, the same opportunity as everybody else. And there's not a media that's generating this division. The media won't tell you that it's class warfare. The media telling you it's racism. It's not racism. It's class warfare. It's the rich and powerful taking everything and leaving you nothing and pretending like it's the poor people's fault.
Yep. And the Wrigley Building. Yes, Kimmy Mack. Yeah, I love that too. And by the way, Shady Groove, I mean, look at, Q post number 1, right? Let's just read this part of it. U.S. military, USMs will conduct Marines. U.S. Marines will conduct the operation while the National Guard is activated. Proof check. Locate a National Guard member and ask if they've been active for duty 10/30 across most major cities. And what's happening now? Q post 1.
Yep. It's starting. The real beginning. Real time. Us doing this together with Donald Trump, without the media. You see, the media doesn't have a grab on us anymore. They can't. There's no Russia right now. There's no impeachment. There's no $500 million. They've got absolutely nothing. No barnacle. All the barnacles are clean. Gone.
No tentacles.
No tentacles.
Yes. Strings cut. Veteran RN says, Sandy says, I love you guys. Prayers for the MG Show family. Sorry for getting that queued drop wrong. Learning. I don't know, but you're good. We love you. Rev Rob 777. I'm late, but I'm here. Are we still winning? Yep. Trump is still president. That's right, Rev Rob. Thank you so much. And back to our president, Shady.
So amazing. Thank you.
You come here from Iowa, you come here from Indiana, you come here from Idaho, because you're so proud of your country, you love your country, and then you get murdered, your son gets murdered, your daughter gets murdered, you get murdered. See the media, you get murdered. Many of you have been mugged in Washington, you just don't want to talk about it. And I know that every time I do this with you, you almost everything, but every time I do this with you, you people are saying to yourselves, he's right, and then you write a negative story. But we are doing an incredible job. The people behind me are amazing. We're working very well with the Washington police, as you know. The DC National Guard is unbelievable. We're also getting tremendous help from Secret Service. And we are at a point where Washington is booming again. People are pouring in like we haven't seen for years. Nobody wanted to come here. They didn't want to come here and get murdered. I have a friend of mine who has a very successful son. And I said, where is your son going to be this weekend? He said, he's going to Washington with his friends. I said, really? Yeah, he's wanted to do it for 4 years, but he couldn't do it because it was so unsafe. And he's a tough kid, too. It's so unsafe. And he ended up staying 3 nights, going out to restaurants all 3 nights. He said it was so beautiful, so peaceful, because all the criminals are either arrested or they're hiding, and we're finding the ones that are hiding. So I want to thank Pam Bondi. I want to thank our vice president. I want to thank everybody standing behind me because they are really, Gaddy, you've been unbelievable, by the way. They have done an unbelievable job. They're working 24 hours a day. And Washington, D.C. is now in great shape. I'm going to be working with Clark Construction, which is by far your biggest construction company. And we're going to also beautify Washington. We're going to rip down the broken medians, fix them. We're going to put asphalt on the roads. We're not ripping them apart like these stupid people do. They rip a road down to the dirt, and then they spend 5 years in building the new one, and then it starts settling. You know, the whole thing is so crazy. And they'll spend hundreds of millions of dollars on a road. I'll spend about $2, and it'll look better. So we're going to be replacing medians. We're going to be replacing much of the asphalt in the road, which in the city, which is in bad shape. We have great stripers. We have great contractors, but we have to let them do the thing. The Congress had said that they'll give us whatever money is needed to fix up the Capitol. This is the Capitol. And we're not going to spend a lot. It's going to go fast, and it will be spotless. And we want it spotless for the World Cup and for the Olympics. You saw the World Cup was here the other day. And come to think of it, there's your trophy for the World Cup. In fact, it's solid gold. That's actually solid gold. So heavy that some of the people in this room wouldn't be able to lift it up. I think what I'm going to do is place it right above the angel, right over there. That's solid gold, too. We're going to put it right up there. Look at that. There's a solid gold trophy. They know how to get to me, you know. I like the angel better, to be honest with you. So we're going to sign, and then we'll take a few questions, and we'll tell you how good a job we're doing. And we want to go from here to other places, but I was telling some of the people that in a certain way, you really want to be asked to go. You know, I hate to barge in on a city and then be treated horribly by corrupt politicians and bad politicians, like a guy like Pritzker. He ought to spend more time in the gym, actually. This guy is a disaster. Gavin Newsom's a disaster. When we went, we saved Los Angeles. You wouldn't have been able to have the Olympics in Los Angeles. You're barely able to have it now. They did lose 25,000 houses to a fire that should have never occurred, because they didn't let the water come down from the Pacific Northwest, which you guys don't want to write about. I had to break into the water supply to let the water down. And even now, we want more. We can have much more. It's less than half of what should be coming in. I don't know, they have a political thing about it. It's like the craziest thing I've ever seen. But I don't like going to a town, a city, place, a state, and then be criticized by some corrupt or incompetent governor where crime is rampant. Like, take a look at D.C. Crime was rampant. It was at the all-time worst. It got really bad during the Biden 4 years. And then I have a mayor stand up and say how crime has reached a 30-year low. 30-year low. People are being killed left and right. And it's not a 30-year low. Think of it. So for 11 days, there have been no murders. The record goes back years where that's happened. They haven't seen that happen in years. And then people stand up, and instead of thanking us, which they should do, and she's not that bad. She's better than most. But, you have people, I watched in Illinois, Chicago, Illinois is a disaster. I have property there. It's a disaster what's going on in Chicago. And you get Pritzker, he's violating our rights. I think this is another men and women's sports thing. I think this is one of those, they call them 80-20 issues. I call them 97-3. I think the Democrats better get smart. And, politically, I hope they don't. But actually, in terms of love for the country, I hope they do, because it would be good to work together. So I'm thinking about, when I have some slob like Pritzker criticizing us before we even go there. I made the statement that next should be Chicago, because as you all know, Chicago's a killing field right now. And they don't acknowledge it. And they say, we don't need him. Freedom, freedom. He's a dictator. He's a dictator. A lot of people are saying maybe we like a dictator. I don't like a dictator. I'm not a dictator. I'm a man with great common sense, and I'm a smart person. And when I see what's happening to our cities, and then you send in troops, instead of being praised, they're saying you're trying to take over the republic. These people are sick. But I'm really saying, and I say this to all of you, in a certain way, we should wait to be asked, because they have cities that are so under control, out of control. So we go in and fix it. They take the full credit for it, and they go out and say, I heard it this morning. They're saying how well they've done over the last 10-day period, that they set record lows. They don't say that we're there with very tough people, by the way. They have to pass the toughness test. Otherwise, they're not working for us. So, and we're allowed to do that now, according to the United States Supreme Court decision. Now, they have to pass a toughness test. If they're not tough, we don't want them for this job. They might be great for other jobs, but not for this job, because they're respected. You saw the gang of kids. They were all huddled up, and a group of soldiers walked up. They never even got over. Those kids ran back to their homes or wherever the hell they came from. They were gone. This is one of the safest cities right now in the world, as crazy as that sounds. And it took 7 days. It took really 3 days, but we're now in our 11th day. So I want to thank you. So we had all of these things, 439 illegal alien criminals have been removed, and we have 6 known gang members, some of the worst leaders of gangs anywhere in the country, MS-13 and Tren de Aragua. We have 2 missing children that have been recovered. They thought they were gone. We brought them back to the family. The family started crying. They couldn't believe that they saw their child again. 49 homeless encampments have been removed. Like, we have the head of South Korea coming in a little while, the president, and he drives down the street. Already, his people have told me, he said, what happened? It's so clean. We always came here, it was filthy dirty with homeless and papers all over the road. That's the other thing. Those roads are swept immaculate. But they're going to be much better in a few months when we put a topping on them. They're going to look like they're brand new. We'll get rid of those rusty old medians that have been crashed into 1,000 times, and they don't fix them. They just let them, they lay them down on the road, and they sit there for months. But we don't do that. We don't run things. We run things like we run this. We like clean, we like beautiful, we like safe, and that's what we're getting. So I'll start signing the executive orders. To me, this is a very, very big deal. One of the executive orders has to do with cashless bail. That was when the big crime in this country started. And I can tell you who did it, when, but I don't want to do that because others followed pretty quickly. But that was when it happened. Somebody kills somebody, they go in, don't worry about it, no cash, come back in a couple of months, we'll give you a trial. You never see the person again. And, I mean, they kill people and they get out. Cashless bail. They thought it was discriminatory to make people put up money because they just killed 3 people lying on a street. Any street, all over the country, cashless bail. We're ending it, but we're starting by ending it in D.C., and that we have the right to do through federalization. Okay, let's go. Could I ask you to say exactly what this is?
Of course. So, as you've consistently identified, sir, cashless bail policies are a key driver of the disorder we see on city streets all over America. Catch and release system allows criminals to keep going back out onto the street and reoffending. What this executive order does, it charges your Attorney General with identifying jurisdictions all over the country that have cashless bail policies and then it withholds or revokes federal funds and grants that are flowing to those jurisdictions to ensure that we're only supporting the people who have reasonable common sense policies around crime.
So what area does it cover?
Potentially anywhere that has a cashless bail policy, so some of the largest cities, some of the most left-wing states in America.
Almost all of them, right?
Illinois would be a great example of that, sir.
Oh, they have a great cashless bail. You don't even have to go to court sometimes. No, Illinois, I love that state. It's a great state, but it's run so badly by Pritzker. They threw him out of the family business and he becomes governor. Now he wants to run for president. I don't think that's going to happen. Okay, we'll sign right here, right?
Sir.
So important.
That sound many libs hate.
And this isn't Republican, Democrat. This is, and by the way, most Democrats agree with this. But this is just
in order
to bring our country back.
This is more about Republican and Democrat base. He just said it, Jay. Wow.
Okay? That's a big one.
Also on the issue of cashless bail, sir, this is a DC-specific executive order. In addition to the measures that we're taking that are quite similar to what we're doing around the country, in DC in particular, the objective is holding as many criminal defendants in federal custody and subjecting them to federal charges as possible. That means that they'll be held pre-trial in federal jail as opposed to just being cut back out on the streets due to a cashless bail policy.
Okay?
I love how Pam Bondi just kind of smiled.
And by the way, the prison they have in DC is horrible. It's horrible. People were subjected to live in that dog trap for so long, so unfairly. I have stories, you'll be hearing about them. That prison is horrible. Okay?
This is an executive order that contains a number of additional measures relating to crime and law enforcement in Washington, D.C. It charges, for example, your Secretary of Defense with establishing specialized units in both the D.C. National Guard and the National Guard units around the country, specifically trained and equipped to deal with public order issues. It charges all of your various federal law enforcement agencies with hiring additional personnel to allow them to surge personnel to Washington, D.C. to deal with the current emergency here. It does a number of other things in that space, and it also asks the Attorney General to look at D.C. Metropolitan Police general orders that have currently impeded law enforcement efforts in the city, and to potentially look at unwinding those that are stopping the police from doing their job effectively.
And are we going to ask this to be codified by Congress, all of these things?
I think we could potentially, yes, sir.
I think so. I think we should. I think we'll get it. I think Democrats will vote. Well, it's hard to believe that they might not, but I think Democrats will actually vote for this.
I doubt it. We'll see.
There's no auto pen that can do that. Right? Look at that, Pam. Is that a good signature? Seriously, is that a good signature?
That's a beautiful signature, sir.
Nobody.
The greatest signature ever.
I don't know. That's the other thing. I assume we're looking at the whole auto pen scam.
Sir.
Because the person that ran it said he spoke to it briefly twice about nothing. That means...
And real quick, back to the cashless bail. Simba asked when and where it started. So cashless bail, meaning the elimination of cash as a condition for pre-trial release, okay? That started with Washington, D.C. in 1992, and then Illinois becoming the first state to entirely abolish it in 2023. The concept of non-financial release has a longer history, as the Bail Reform Act of 1966 encouraged the use of less restrictive means than financial bonds for ensuring a defendant's appearance in court. So that's your history.
Yeah, back in the old day, it was collateral, like you would have to give your cow.
Or your weed.
Or like whatever it was, you had to like leave your tractor or something,
Yeah, exactly. Leave your mules or something.
Yeah, you had to take your mule back down and let them hold it for you, and then you have to feed it.
Yeah, and that's how it used to work, guys. Here we go, back to President Trump.
all those pardons that he gave to some very bad people, very unpatriotic people, very evil people, it looks to me like those pardons are worthless. Because, number one, you shouldn't use an auto pen, very specifically. But if you do, it has to be a very good reason. And they have to know that the president wanted it. The president didn't want this. The president didn't know he was alive, okay? He never approved any of this stuff. he wasn't for open borders and all the other things. He was never for open borders. I've known Biden a long time. He was never very sharp, but he was never in favor of open borders and all of the other things he did to destroy our country. Let's go.
Lastly, sir, this is an executive order on flag burning. It charges your attorney general.
Would you listen to this? This is very important. Flag burning. All over the country, they're burning flags. All over the world, they burn the American flag. And as you know, through a very sad court, I guess it was a 5-4 decision, they called it freedom of speech. But there's another reason, which is perhaps much more important. It's called death. Because what happens when you burn a flag is the area goes crazy. If you have hundreds of people, they go crazy. You can do other things. You can burn this piece of paper. But when you burn the American flag, it incites riots at levels that we've never seen before. People go crazy. In a way, both ways. There are some that are going crazy for doing it. There are others that are angry about them doing it. Do you want to discuss that?
Sure. So what the executive order does, sir, it charges your Department of Justice with investigating instances of flag burning, and then where there's evidence of criminal activity, where prosecution wouldn't fall afoul of the First Amendment, and instructs the Department of Justice to prosecute those who are engaged in these instances of flag burning.
And what the penalty is going to be, if you burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail. No early exits, no nothing. You get 1 year in jail. If you burn a flag, and what it does is incite to riot. I hope they use that language, by the way. Did they?
Yeah, incitement is
incite to riot. And you burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail. You don't get 10 years, you don't get 1 month. You get 1 year in jail, and it goes on your record. And you will see flag burning stopping immediately, just like when I signed the Statute and Monument Act. 10 years in jail if you heard any of our beautiful monuments. Everybody left town. They were gone. Never had a problem after that. It's pretty amazing. We stopped it. But this is something that's, I don't know, in a certain way, it's equally as important. Some people would say it's more important. Because the people in this country don't want to see our American flag burned and spit on. And by people that are, in many cases, paid agitators. They're paid by the radical left to do it. You talk to these people, they don't even know, half of them don't even know what they're doing. They say, I don't know, they gave me money to do this. I see the same things that you do. They're bad people. They're trying to destroy our nation. That's not working, because I think our nation now is the most respected nation anywhere in the world, by far. You saw that with the European leaders on Friday. You saw that with NATO, where they agreed to go from 2% no pay to 5% fully paid up. Trillions of dollars paid, where they respect your president to a level that they jokingly call me the president of Europe. They call me the president of Europe, which is an honor. I like Europe, and I like those people. They're good people. They're great leaders. And we've never had a case where 7 plus really 28, essentially 38 countries were represented here the other day. 38 European countries were represented. European and other countries were represented. And it was a great meeting. But your country is respected again. I say it all the time. 1 year ago, our country was dead. Everybody said it. We had a dead country. We were not going to survive. Now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. So it's an honor to be involved. And this group has a lot to do with it, right behind me. Does anybody behind me have anything? Pam, would you like to say something?
Sure, President. Thank you for keeping DC safe. You know, just a couple examples of a mother, a single mom, whose house was burglarized, and the defendant got out on cashless bail, went back the next night and burglarized her house again. That's why this is so important. A man got in a fight with another guy. He had a gun. He was let out. Next night, he got up, went back, and killed him. So that's why it's so important, President, what you're doing. And thank you for protecting the American flag. And we'll do that without running afoul of the First Amendment as well. And President, I think I think Gaddy Serralta had something he wanted to give you on behalf of all the law enforcement who are out there every single night.
Yes.
Thank you for putting me in charge of this surge. As the director of the United States Marshal Service, it's the oldest law enforcement agency.
This is awesome, guys.
It was created in 1789. So on behalf of all the federal law enforcement agencies that we're working with and those that have yet to join the team, we thought it was only appropriate to present you with an honorary United States Marshal Service badge. And this badge comes with this little item right here, which is a handcuff key, Mr. President, because you continue through your policies and your efforts with your staff to unhandcuff law enforcement officers all over this nation. And I can tell you personally that they thank you for that.
Thank you. That's
You
beautiful.
can continue unhandcuffing law enforcement.
It's a very great honor. I'll save that and put it someplace up, which is important. Thank you very much, Ken. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Really nice. Thank you. That's very nice. Thank you. Well, we love those people. They're brave and they love our country and they don't want to see it. Do you know how many people volunteered for this job? And before I ask the VP to say a few words, because he feels very strongly about it, I think it's very important, Pam, that when we do this, that the state required, they come and ask us. I mean, I see Pritzker saying, we don't want them. In the meantime, his city is being shot to hell. And they do that politically. And they probably do want it. If we didn't go to Los Angeles, you would literally have had to call off the Olympics. It was so bad. And the sheriff and the law enforcement people, but the sheriff said, and he came out very strongly, he said, if we didn't have these people, we were not able to control it. Now, 4 days later, after we had it totally under control, we did that quickly. He changes to it a little bit. Well, I think we could have done it, they were dead. If we didn't send in the troops, Los Angeles was dead, the Olympics was gone, the World Cup was gone, everything was gone. We did a great job. And Newsom, he's an incompetent governor. But I think people should want us to be there because otherwise all they'll do is complain as we do our job. So we'll have to think about that, okay? We go in, like in Washington, we go in and the people that are here that have been doing, I don't want to say terrible because she happens, she's a nice woman, yes. I don't care about if she's nice, I really don't care. I want her to do, I'd rather have her be horrible but do the job. But we come into Washington and we have the 11 best days they've had here in 2 centuries. I mean, they've never seen anything like it. Let's go 2 decades. In over 20 years, they haven't seen anything like what happened. And now they're out there saying, we don't have crime in Washington. Well, that's true. For 11 days, you don't have crime. But before that, everybody was getting hit and mugged. And you people could not walk to your office without security. That's how unsafe it was. So I think we should really let them have their city, let their city go to hell, and when they come and beg us to help. The only problem is we want to save it for the people, because the people want us there. The people here, 95% of the people here want us. The real people, not the people you find I don't know where you find these people. You have one person has a broken nose. Where'd you get it? Well, I was mugged. Good. Do you want to see Trump here with? No, I don't want. Woman has a broken nose. She got mugged. But she's saying she doesn't want any protection. It's all made up fake news. It's just fake news. I don't know where you find these people. Anyway, would you say a couple of words, please? And then I'm going to ask JD to say something. You have done an unbelievable job in a short period of time.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Highly recommended by you-know-who, right?
Yes, sir.
You want to say his name?
Mr. Youngkin, Governor Youngkin. Yes, sir.
We stole you from Governor.
He called me, Glenn Youngkin called, and he said, I have somebody who's really fantastic. And based on that recommendation, here you are, and you've done a fantastic job. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Go ahead.
The men and women of the Metropolitan Police Department are back. They enjoy doing their job again. They feel the ability to go out and be law enforcement officers. They feel that they're connected to their communities again. They are making a difference. Thanks to you, Mr. President, and our federal task force, you are making DC safe once again. Thank you, sir.
It's going to get better and better. Well, it can't get much better. There's no crime. I read where crime's down 89%. I said, really? Who are the 11%? Okay? There's no crime. JD, please.
Yes, sir. Well, thanks, Mr. President. Thanks to the incredible team here. I was I want to echo something the president said, where you say there haven't been murders in a couple of weeks in D.C., and it doesn't sound good, but then you talk to local law enforcement, and I didn't realize this, that this town averaged one murder every other day for the last 20, 30 years, which means that in 2 short weeks, the president and the team have saved 6 or 7 lives, people who would have been killed on the streets of D.C., who are now living, breathing, spending time with their families, because the president had the willpower to say, no more. We're not going to give the streets of D.C. over to vagrants and robbers and murderers. And the last point I want to make, sir, to your point about we want people to welcome us, to ask us, because look at Governor Pritzker in Illinois, or Governor Newsom in Los Angeles, or Governor Moore in Maryland. They are angrier about the fact that the President of the United States is offering to help them get their crime under control than they are about the fact that murderers are running roughshod over their cities and have been for decades. Why are Democrat governors angrier about federal law enforcement helping clean up their streets than they are about the fact that those streets need to be cleaned up to begin with? It shows a real sickness in the head. And I agree with the President of the United States. I think most Democrats, rank and file, nobody likes crime. Republicans don't like crime. Democrats don't like crime. Independents don't like crime. Why are Democratic governors doing everything in their power to make crime easier to do in their cities? It doesn't make an ounce of sense to me. But, Mr. President, I appreciate you being willing to help. And I hope these governors take you up on the offer, because we should clean up all of America's streets. It's the right of every American to live in safety and comfort in their community.
And we've got the people to do it. They're signing up like they've never signed up before. Our military, as you know, during the campaign, nobody was signing up. We were way short of their goal, we were understaffed. Nobody wanted to be in the military. Nobody wanted to be a policeman. Nobody wanted to be a fireman. They didn't want anything to do with the country. We had an incompetent, grossly incompetent president who frankly should not have been there. He should have never been there. The damage he did to this country is incalculable. I mean, just what he has done. So much of our effort are getting murderers and jailbirds and people out of this country who are drug dealers at the highest level. So much of the energy of people that he let in, it was an unforced error. But I don't think they think it's an error. But I don't believe he believed it. It was the radical lunatics that surrounded this guy at this desk, who are brilliant people, but with the wrong philosophy. There were some brilliant people, but they're evil people, and they're going to be brought down. They have to be brought down because they really hurt our country. But we're getting it back very quickly. And I'll tell you something, our country's now is stronger. I think we're more respected than we've been respected in 100 years. That's a whole different ballgame. JD, could I ask you,
Yes, sir.
You gave a stat on murders here. What were the numbers? You said in a short period of time, how many people were murdered?
Local law enforcement told me, sir, that in the past 20 or 30 years, D.C. has averaged a murder every other day. That's, 200 murders a year, 150, 250, but about every other day a person has been killed on the streets of Washington, D.C. We've been doing this for 2 weeks. 0 people killed. That's real lives saved that the media and, frankly, the entire Democratic Party should be saying, thank you for saving lives, instead of attacking the President of the United States for doing so.
You know, when a person, unfortunately, will probably happen at some point, when a person's murdered in D.C., it's going to be the biggest story maybe in history. Right?
Yes, sir.
Somebody was murdered in D.C. Trump is failing. No, we're not failing. We have a safe city. This is maybe the safest city in America right now. That's how good it is. And it would be nice to be appreciated. These people, eventually, they're going to have to be appreciated for what they're doing. And they're going to have to be appreciated by the officials that are really happy when we go in because they've lost control of their place. Steve Miller, please say a few words.
Thank you, sir. So just to, first of all, follow up on what the Vice President said. No police officer working in the city can remember a time in their lives when there has been no murders. You can work at the police department for 20 years, 30 years, your whole life. You check the records, no one can even find a record of being murder-free for as long as you've been murder-free under President Trump's leadership. Additionally, and the President spoke about this before, we've uncovered, in the process of uncovering, a massive scandal in Washington, D.C. with the doctoring of crime stats. And the Department of Justice, under the Attorney General, is leading the effort to uncover this. But when we ultimately share the results, it will stun you. The extent to which, even though D.C. had the worst crime in America, honestly measured, it dramatically understated how bad it was. There's even accusations that murders and homicides were reported as accidents instead of murders. I mean, this is how severe the manipulation of the crime data has been in the city, and it will all be uncovered and it will all be brought to light. You know, I've had a chance to spend some time, as everyone here, with the police officers in the city. Members of the public are going up to them and thanking them, just overflowing with gratitude, because for the first time in their lives, they can use the parks, they can walk on the streets. You have people who can walk freely at night without having to worry about being robbed or mugged. They're wearing their watches again. They're wearing jewelry again. They're carrying purses again. People had changed their whole lives in this city for fear of being murdered, mugged, and carjacked. It is a literal statement that President Trump has freed 700,000 people in this city who are living under the rule of criminals and thugs. And the last thing I'll say is that under the efforts of Terry, to my left and many here, what they found also is that the street criminals here in Washington, D.C. were doing business directly with the transnational criminal cartels, the foreign terrorist organizations. So not only was the city being run by these criminal thugs, but they were working with some of the most dangerous terrorist organizations on the planet to traffic weapons and drugs into this city. And what we are uncovering every day is shocking to us, and we look forward to sharing all the results with you. But President Trump, your leadership has uncovered some of the great public safety scandals of our life, and now because of you, people are safe and free for the first time ever in this city.
Boom. And real quick, we're going to just go ahead and continue through the break, but I want to just do this real quick. Yeti, here we go. This is, so set your clocks, guys. Mark your calendar and buckle up for the best NFL primetime football action starting on September 4th on Westwood One. You can catch all the bone-crushing hits, last-second heroics, and edge-of-your-seat football action that NFL Thursday, Sunday, and Monday nights have to offer. Whether you're tailgating, driving, or chilling at home, don't miss a single snap. Listen to the NFL app, the Westwood One Sports app at westwoodonesports.com, or just say ALEXA. Open Westwood One Sports. If it's on the NFL, it's on Westwood One. Shady Grove, we're going to...
Sorry.
No, we're just going to continue with President Trump.
Yeah, I was getting ready to thank everybody here. We are going to go through the commercial break today, and this is absolutely compelling because, like I said before, like this is, guys, you have to understand, you have a war zone. Your cities are war zones, guys. Sorry to tell you that. I know you don't like to hear that. I don't know. Maybe you've not been to San Francisco. Maybe you've not been to the inner cities in a long time. Maybe you've not been to Portland. It's a war zone. Okay, and so you're not going to get weak-kneed politicians that run the police department to activate in a war zone properly. You're also not going to probably be able to get weak-kneed sheriffs to do anything either. If you're going to get the problem under control, you're going to need a show of force, which is a deterrent. Okay, the military is not in a city picking up and arresting people and taking them to the military compound and putting them on tribunals. Okay, they're ending up at the police department or the sheriff's department with charges of doing whatever it is they're doing. They're getting zip ties put on their hands, and they're getting taken into custody, and they're getting a report filled out that says what it is that they saw them do, and then the investigation and the criminal prosecution of said persons will continue from there. That is not a military takeover or martial law. In a martial law situation or a military takeover, they come out and they start to grade society on what it is you think. Do you agree with the current government, or do you disagree with the current government? That is martial law. That is a far different thing what the Bush administration and these people and Hillary Clinton had planned for you than what you see right here. What you see right here is Gotham being cleaned up by Batman.
Yeah, and guys, all this, like the military is the only way, fully controlled. It's the only way to get your power back to the people, guys. Fully controlled by President Trump, by the actual patriots, okay? This could be the actual news on Locke's map. We've got the Czech National Guard in certain cities. How's it going now?
It's not good.
How are you going to fix it?
It's not good right now. Nobody is willing to spend the political capital that it would take to do it. You've got to do crazy stuff like deport millions of people. You have to. You have to get rid of them. You have to get them out. You have to do other crazy stuff like stop giving benefits to people that can walk on 2 feet and aren't disabled. Force them. You have to get rid of cashless bail. So therefore, there's a penalty and a something that hurts them, a punishment for something that happens to you. That is redirecting and correcting society, and it is so bad that it is going to take a massive lift. This is a massive lift. What Trump is doing right now with trying to straighten up DC, guys. I mean, because like I said, the example.
And by the way, DC is not of this country. It is its own sovereign entity. It is supposed to be run by the commander in chief.
Correct.
Not some Bowser freaking.
Well, the reason that you have a government in D.C. is due to the 1871 re-engineering and reconstruction of the Constitution controlled by the moneylenders. Okay, that's the reason that you have there shouldn't even really be a police force, because the police take is policy. Okay, like DC should be federally run. It should be literally the example for the rest of the country to see of how it is to function within law and order. And the DOJ should back up the rest of law enforcement. The DOJ has not been backing up law enforcement for decades, guys.
Yeah. Lisa Blair says, burning the American flag boils my blood. Curious how the EO holds up against 1990 SCOTUS ruling. I don't know how the answer. Well, it's an executive order right now. Let's see what happens.
I think that it is a very interesting angle that Donald Trump is coming at this from, because he is mentioning that it is inciting a riot, okay, which is a very good argument. If in any political case, that's a very good argument. At minimum, what it will end up doing is someone will get arrested for burning a flag, and it will go to the Supreme Court.
Yeah,
that's what we want to happen. That's exactly what we want to happen. That's the process working the way the process should work. You shouldn't be burning a flag, and if you feel so compelled to burn a flag, there should be some sort of risk attached to it.
And Finn says, okay, let's keep it in D.C. No, I want my Chicago safe. I grew up in the Chicagoland area, and it is a shithole. I want that place fixed. And if I have to bring in the National Guard to fix it because these assholes can't fix it, then so be it.
Criminals want to keep their crime, guys.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Back to my president, your president, Donald J. Trump.
Thank you very much, Steve. You know, in Los Angeles, Beverly Hills is, a great place. I have a house there. I had a house there. I used to spend a lot of time there. And a great place. Do you know that I have friends, they leave their trunk open for their car because they know they're going to be vandalized. They don't want the trunk ripped off in order for them to steal what's in the back. They leave the doors open so when they go in to steal the radio or whatever they take, that they don't rip off the door. They leave the doors totally open so the criminals, when they go and open the door, they'll have to break the windows and kill the car in order to steal whatever it is in the car that they're looking for. And that's at a level that nobody's ever seen before. Nobody lives like that. I have another friend, he has a garage, and in order to save his garage door, he leaves it open so that people can just walk into his garage, take whatever they want, and leave. But all the cars so many cars, I've been told this by many people, stars, big people, they leave their doors open so the doors aren't destroyed by these criminals. All over Los Angeles this is taking place. And you know that. I mean, you've heard that. Christy, could you say a few words?
Sure. Well, Mr. President, I think one of the most impactful statistics that you used today was of the 1,000 arrests that have happened already so far, 439 of them were illegal criminals, which means they never should have been in this country to begin with. That they were in this country, invaded over our southern border or our northern border or maritime seas, and then they committed crimes against the American people. So by getting those individuals incarcerated, we've stopped those violent crimes from happening here in the city. And sir, they do. Exactly like Stephen was talking, they have ties to cartels. They have networks across this country and other cities. So by what you're doing here is going to have a ripple effect in Miami, in Chicago, in other cities, because you're grabbing those networks and giving us information and targeting information to go and get more criminals across this country. So thank you for the work that you're doing. We have ICE and CBP, Federal Protective Services, Secret Service, HSI, all of our officers are working with all the other agencies every day here in DC, and they're so proud to have this kind of partnership. So we're so glad that you're letting them do their jobs again. And I don't know if you've heard, sir, but the recruitment campaign for ICE, when we were going to hire 10,000 new officers, we've got over 130,000 people that have applied and raised their hands and said they work with ICE. So no matter what the fake news says or what the media says about ICE not having support, they've got incredible support from the American people. People want to join them and help them do what they're doing to make America safe again. So thank you for the
I was going to say that our recruitment drive, it was dead. During the campaign, they couldn't get, every story was the Army can't fill up, the Marines, none of them could fill up. They were way behind. We couldn't get anybody to go into the military, couldn't get any police. We have just set records on everybody wants to be in, everybody wants to go in. And we're taking incredible people. I mean, the level of, because of the Supreme Court, it's based on merit. It's all based on merit now. It's not based on anything else. You got to, if you need strong people, you have to get strong people. It's all based on merit. But we're setting records in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, the Coast Guard. One of my favorites, because I happen to have created it, Space Force. We're very proud of Space Force. It's amazing what it's doing. We're leading in space now. China was killing us. Russia was beating us. China was killing us. We're now killing China. We are leading in space by a lot because of Space Force. So we're very proud. But everybody wants to go in. We went from not, and you know how bad that is for the spirit when every story that you were writing a year ago was that nobody wants to go into the military anymore. And if you're in the military, you know how deflating that is? You go home to your family. Nobody wants a job that you have. Well, now it's the opposite. Everybody wants to be there. And that includes police and fire and everything else. You're doing a good job.
Thank you, sir.
You're stopping a lot of wars. just the presidents we're stopping. We've stopped 7 wars, and really the number is actually 10. We're not including a couple, and we're not including in there what we did with Iran, stopping their nuclear play. They would have had within a month or two, they would have had a nice big nuclear weapon to use. That's not going to happen. That won't happen. Pete, go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. Well, Mr. President, thank you very much for your leadership, and the Defense Department is proud to be a part of this task force. Just like we have been down at the southwest border, where crossings are at 0, we've got national defense areas where we're working with Border Patrol to secure the southern border for the American people. Just like Los Angeles, where ICE officers deserve to do their job without being attacked, we're really proud to be a part of defending the nation's capital and ensuring it is safe and beautiful and working with law enforcement. And Mr. President, let me tell you, the morale of the troops, getting out there talking to them, they love this mission. They're grateful to be doing it, whether they're D.C. National Guard or other state National Guards. And at your direction as well, sir, it's just common sense to make sure they're armed as well. And so we're rolling out ensuring they're armed, capable of defending themselves and others if need be, supporting law enforcement, and we're proud to be there, sir.
Well, look at the mission you just accomplished with Iran. 36 hours back and forth, flawless. Every bomb hit its target. They went right down those chutes, dark at night, no moon, no nothing. Every target, every bomb went right down. They have a chute that goes right down deep into the mountain. And they shouldn't have put ventilation in, I can tell you, because we used that for our advantage. What they did, and we had the pilots and even the people that took care of the planes. We had a whole group of people at the White House a couple of weeks ago. And, you know, I didn't realize this, but they said, we've been looking at their predecessors, and then these were the pilots. They said, we gave them beautiful medals. And I'll show you the medal. Gave them a medal just like this. See? Just like that. They were so happy. We gave a lot of them out for that. It was an incredible job. You know, we had 52 tankers. People don't realize, so that they could refuel. We had many fighter jets, F-22s, F-35s. We had many. It was an amazing operation. It was flawless. Compare that to the operation when they went in with the helicopters crashing and everyone running around the desert and the prisoners being taken. And that was Jimmy Carter. And what a horrible thing. This was the exact opposite. This was the exact opposite of what they did in leaving a very, very nice place. The Taliban runs a tough operation in Afghanistan, and I think it was the most embarrassing day in the history of our country. That was Biden. I was leaving, and we would have left through strength, tremendous strength. We would have kept Bagram, which is the air base, one of the largest runways in the world, one of the most powerful. You could land anything on it, many, many feet thick. You don't build them that way anymore. You can't. But we left it, and now China's occupying that air base. This was the most incompetent administration in history, the Biden administration. And you're just lucky that they lost, because if they won, you wouldn't have a country anymore. And so, Pete, you started up by saying the Department of Defense, and somehow it didn't sound good to me. You know, it didn't sound good. Defense, what are we defense? Why are we defense? So it used to be called the Department of War, and it had a stronger sound. And as you know, we won World War I, we won World War II, we won everything. Now we have a Department of Defense with defenders. I don't know. If you people want to, standing behind me, if you take a little vote, if you want to change it back to what it was when we used to win wars all the time, that's okay with me. All right?
That's coming
You
soon,
go,
sir.
you let me know if you want to do it. I think Department of War. It just sounded bad. He said, sir, on behalf of the Department of Defense. Defense. I don't want to be defense only. We want defense, but we want offense too, if that's okay. So you'll make a decision. But you know, as Department of War, we won everything. We won everything. And I think we're going to have to go back to that. In the meantime, I've stopped all of these wars. I've stopped them. The big one would have been...
And by the way, the National Guard can be activated for both domestic and federal missions, guys, all right? So stop your little whining. Unless Portland's okay, unless Chicago's okay, unless your little blue city LA is okay. Otherwise, we need to deploy the National Guard for domestic missions and federal.
Deterrent.
Yes.
This is not about shooting Americans. It's about deterring them from being stupid.
That's right. That's right.
They have a problem with stupidity. They have a lot of it. It's oozing out of them from every angle.
And what other president used the National Guard?
It's called Democrats.
Lincoln.
Yes.
Lincoln used it.
That's
all right.
correct. Yes, well, he's not the only one. I mean, we've used the National Guard to help domestically. It's no different than the National Guard trying to rescue people that are flooded. What's the difference?
Oh, they're going to shoot Americans, Shady.
Yeah, they're going out so they can put them in the boats and sink them.
Yeah. And it's not going to be a forever thing, guys. It's going to be fix it, get the right people, because you guys, you know, fix the vote, get the right people in there, get rid of the aliens that are house seats now. I mean, it's just, it's a big, big effed up situation. We've got to get through it, guys.
They tried to make it so bad we could never fix it. So, you know, don't be thumbing your nose at the solution.
Yes, ma'am. Sir. Ma'am?
Ma'am.
Sir. I was looking at somebody's comment here.
Yeah. Wow. I think I'm out.
We need to take Vagram Air Base back. Oh, yeah. The air base out there. Got the C staff. Thank you. Bagram. That's right.
Bagram.
All right, here we go. Back to my president, your president, Donald J. Trump.
India and Pakistan. We stopped them all. We stopped 3 wars. Go to Africa. They like to say, oh, you know, I love black people. And I did great with the vote with the black people. But they say he's a racist. I said, really? For 35 years, a war raged between Rwanda and the Republic of the Congo. And it was a vicious war. 9 million people were killed with machetes, largely. Hatchets, machetes. That went on for more than 30 years, but 34, 35 years. And I stopped it. In fact, the presidents are coming in a week or two to sign. We have the foreign ministers, it's all signed, the war stopped. But I got it stopped and saved a lot of lives. The Congo, it's deep into deepest, darkest Africa. I got that war stopped. Nobody else could have done that. We did a lot of jobs. We did a lot of wars were stopped that nobody thought would even be possible. And I'll tell you what, the war with India and Pakistan, that was the next level. That was going to be a nuclear war. They already shot down 7 jets. I was raging. And I said, you guys want to do trade? We're not doing any trade. We're not doing anything with you if you keep fighting. You got 24 hours to settle it. They said, well, there's no more war going. And I used that on numerous occasions. Trade. I used whatever you had to use. We got 7 of them stopped. And the one I thought would be easiest, frankly, was going to be Russia and Ukraine. But that turns out to be some big personality conflicts. It's one of those things, but we're going to get that stopped eventually. We're going to get that stopped too. 7,000 soldiers died last week. Think of that, 7,000. I usually say 5,000, but 7,221 soldiers died last week in the fight between Ukraine and Russia. And they're not our soldiers, but they're souls. They're living souls, and they leave their homes, and they wave to their parents, and their parents are so proud as they leave in a beautiful uniform, and a week later, they get their head blown off by a drone. New form of military. It's a whole new form of fighting. So I would just like to thank the people that are behind me. Thank you very much. You've done a fantastic job. I appreciate it very much. We're doing a real job, and I'm so proud of DC.
Great job.
I passed it 2 days ago, and all the garbage is off the streets.
It's a great picture.
Terrible. I came in a month and a half ago. I'm driving down and I see garbage all over the place. The streets were a pigsty. Like I won't use the city's names, but you know what I'm talking about. There are plenty of them outside of this country and inside of this country. Baltimore is a horrible, horrible deathbed. It's a deathbed. I know Governor Moore said, "Oh, he wants to take a walk with me." He meant it in a derogatory tone. I said, "No, I'm the president of the United States. Clean up your crime and I'll walk with you." But it's tremendous crime. But he was trying to be derogatory. He doesn't have what it takes. But he's trying to be derogatory. And I met him at the Army-Navy game. They said, "Oh, there's Governor Moore. He'd love to see you." He came over to me, he hugged me, shook my hand. "You were there." He said, "Sir, you're the greatest president of my lifetime." I said, "It's really nice that you say that. I'd love you to say it publicly, but I don't think you can do that, so it's okay. But no, sir, you're doing a fantastic job. I want to just shake your hand. Thank you very much, Governor." That was it. And then every time I see him on television, he's knocking the hell out of me. So, but that's all right. It's called politics. But Governor Moore's he's doing a bad job. Newsom's doing a bad job. All of their potential candidates are doing a bad job. I can't imagine Pritzker being even a candidate, but somebody said he is. He can't do the work, he can't do the job. He's not temperamentally suited. So I just want to thank you all for being here. Do you have some questions?
Yes, is the Pentagon, and maybe the Secretary of Defense can weigh in too, is the Pentagon preparing for military deployment to Chicago? And with what you said there, are you waiting for the government?
We're ready to go anywhere. We have
want him to call
a
you, though?
full complement of great human beings. We're full. You know, our military is full. We were way empty 1 year ago. Now we're full. So we can go anywhere on less than 24 hours notice.
Are you waiting for the government?
And we're doing a lot to interdict to stop drugs from coming in too. We have ships out on sea. You know, we have nobody coming through our border anymore. Nobody. Doesn't that feel good to know that you don't have prisoners coming in and, you know, killers, murderers? We had 11,888 murderers come in, let in by the Biden administration. Many of them have been captured, but we still have a couple of thousand that are out there. Some of them, 50% of them killed more than one person. Okay, but a lot of them have been captured. What they've done to our country, these people that circle this moron that we had behind this desk, what they've done to our country is unthinkable. It's unthinkable. I mean, if you think so much of our time is devoted to correcting a problem that all they had to do is say, close the borders. Remember when he said, well, I have no power to close the border. I have to go back and get an act from Congress. I didn't get an act from Congress. I came in, I said, close the borders. And Tom Homan, who's not here, has been fantastic, Christy, right? Yes. Tom Homan is great. He's a fantastic man and respected by everybody. But I said, Tom, close the borders. Christy, close the borders. The borders were closed. We didn't go to Congress and get permission. We just closed the borders. And in the last 3 months, hard to believe this one too, in the last 3 months, we've had 0 people come into our country illegally through the southern border. Nobody would have said that's possible. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today, MS-13 gangbanger and human trafficker Kilmar Abrego Garcia turned himself into ICE in Baltimore. Do you have any comment on this? And why are the Democrats so emotionally attached to this man who beats his wife and is part of a terrorist organization?
Because
Conrad, who's asking that
I think
question?
he's going to be good for votes, and I think he's very bad for votes. These people are deranged. He's not good for votes. He beat the hell out of his wife. His wife is afraid to even
You mean
talk.
Jordan Conradson?
Yeah, was that him?
About this animal.
Sounded like him.
It sounded like him.
Yeah.
A system of liberal courts. Yeah, he's doing things, but no, we have that under control. And Pam has got that very much under control. Do you want to comment on it?
No, we've got him under control. He will no longer terrorize our country. He's currently charged with human smuggling, including children. The guy needs to be in prison. He doesn't need to be on the streets like all these liberals want him to be. And as part of this operation here in DC, we've also taken off MS-13 members. We've taken, I think just last night, we got a TDA guy off our streets right here, right around from where we all work. Another TDA member gone because of this project. So we're going to keep America safe from all of these foreign terrorist organizations, including Abrego Garcia.
Okay.
Mr. President,
If we could get your reaction, sir. The Israelis bombed a hospital in Gaza, killed 20 people, including 5 journalists.
When did this happen?
This happened overnight, today.
I didn't know that.
Any reaction to this?
Well, I'm not happy about it. I don't want to see it. At the same time, we have to end that whole nightmare. I'm the one that got the hostages out. I got them out. All of them. Steve Witkoff has been amazing. He's done a great job. But I'm the one that got them all out through my people and through me. And now we're left with probably a little bit less than 20 because I think 1 or 2 are gone. And I said a long time ago, I'm going to get them out. But when we get down to that final 10 or 20, these people aren't going to release them because they're dead after they release them. So it's a nasty situation. Very nasty, horrible thing. Yes.
Mr. President, could you please elaborate on your post on South Korea? What were you referring to?
Well, I heard that there were raids on churches over the last few days, very vicious raids on churches by the new government in South Korea, that they even went into our military base and got information. They probably shouldn't have done that, but I heard bad things. I don't know if it's true or not. I'll be finding out. As you know, your new president's coming in just a couple of hours coming here. I look forward to meeting him. But we won't stand for that. We just won't stand for that.
Yes. Are you prepared to order National Guard troops, though, into American cities if those governors don't request the federal deployment?
I am, but I also think that, look, Chicago, everybody knows how bad it is. Everybody standing there knows. We know. You don't have to be doing any studies. They should be saying, please come in. Pritzker should be saying that. You know, I did a favor for Christy Whitmer, a good favor, I think, with the fish, the carp, China carp. Did you ever hear of it? China carp. And it's taken over your Great Lakes. You know about that, right? And she came and she wanted to know if it's possible for us to do something about it. And I said, well, I'll do. But I think it's appropriate that the person from Illinois, the governor from Illinois, asks also. It's a tremendously expensive project, actually. It's invasive. It's horrible what's happened. And we can do it with GSA and various people. But we can do it. We're going to just have to see what happens, okay? We're going to have to see what happens. But
You have the legal authority.
But the governor of Michigan came, was very respectful, asked for it. She's done a good job. I did that. I opened the Air Force Base, kept it open for F-35s and various planes, F-22s too. I did that for the state of Michigan at her request. And I will, and also at our congressmen. We have congressmen that are unbelievably pro-Michigan up there. But some of this stuff, like the lakes, the Great Lakes, this is a big problem that nobody ever talks about. Most of you probably have never heard of. We have a pretty violent fish that comes from China, China carp, Chinese carp. And you see them jumping out. They jump into boats and they jump all over the place. They've got a lot of energy. And there's a way of getting rid of them. It's very expensive. And I didn't get a request from the governor of Illinois, who is affected maybe more than anybody else, right? And I think until I get that request from that guy, I'm not going to do anything about it. And I feel the same way about crime. We go in, we will solve Chicago within 1 week, maybe less, but within 1 week, we will have no crime in Chicago, just like we have no crime in D.C. But, I don't like to go in and do it and then have somebody stand up and say what a great job he's doing on crime. And we don't want the military in our state. We don't want the military. You understand? Do you understand that?
Yeah, these governors will say.
So I don't know. So
no
we're going to have a little
emergency
meeting. I think, I feel like we go in and we do it, like here. To a lesser extent with the mayor. She hasn't been terrible, but she hasn't been, exactly saying, oh, great. She did say last night, I heard her say that, well, we really don't want the military in D.C. Well, that's, not very nice, I guess. So,
All right, real quick, Shady Groove. We got one more real quick because, we are being funded by you. And I also want to give a shout out to Westwood One. Here we go, Shady Groove and Yeto. This is the countdown, guys. The countdown is over, and the rivalries are real on the road to the championships begins August 23rd. Westwood One Sports brings you every electrifying moment in the NCAA football, from the first snap to the final whistle. Top teams, big plays, unforgettable Saturdays. Don't miss a second of the action. Don't miss a second, guys. Listen to NCAA football on Rumble.com, the Westwood One Sports app, on Westwood One via WestwoodOneSports.com, via Westwood One's radio station streams, or by asking ALEXA to open Westwood One Sports. If it's sports, it's on Westwood One. All right, Shady Grove, back to our president. This is big stuff. He's not happy about, the National Guard. Listen to what he's saying here, guys. But it has to be done.
None of us are.
Yeah.
None of us
wish
are
we
happy
weren't
about
here.
it.
Exactly.
We'd all like to have a nice, safe city and not need the National Guard.
Right.
a little bit of a hit, but she's not as bad as some. We saved Los Angeles, and all we did is get criticized by this idiot that's running the state into the ground, right? Where people are leaving. He should be thanking us, and he should be requesting us to be there. And the governor of Illinois should be. Chicago's a disaster. And the governor of Illinois should say, President, would you do us the honor of cleaning up our city? We need help. They need help.
Good luck with that.
We may wait. We may or may not. We may just go in and do it, which is probably what we should do. The problem is, it's not nice when you go in and do it and somebody else is standing there saying, as we give great results, say, we don't want the military. They need help badly. Chicago desperately needs help. Just look at the crime statistics. Look at the statistics that JD said about, even I didn't know it was that bad. That's terrible. But all I know is we're being celebrated because we went an entire week. Now it's 11 days. We went an entire week without a murder. And I said, boy, that sounds terrible. I didn't know how to, I actually made a speech. I didn't know how to say it because it's a great number. It's a great thing. But it sounds so bad. I mean, supposing you're from a foreign country which is properly run and they don't have murders and things, right, so much, or in some cases virtually at all. And you have somebody saying, I'm proud to announce that nobody was murdered in the capital of the United States this week. It sounds terrible. But
Mr. President, Gavin Newsom, you've mentioned Gavin Newsom on crime.
Gavin Newsom, yes.
Is there a federal mechanism you're hoping to use to fight back against his redistricting constitutional amendment, or is that...
Well, I think I'm going to be filing a lawsuit pretty soon, and I think we're going to be very successful in it. We're going to be filing it through the Department of Justice. That's going to happen. And we're also going to be filing a lawsuit on blue slipping. You know, blue slips make it impossible for me as
Boom.
to appoint a judge or a U.S. attorney because they have a gentleman's agreement. It's nothing memorialized. It's a gentleman's agreement that's about 100 years old, where if you have a president like a Republican and if you have a Democrat senator, that senator can stop you from appointing a judge or a U.S. attorney. In particular, those are the two, I guess anything, but those are the two that are very important. So we have numerous states where we have unbelievable people. Now, Jay Clayton was just approved in the Southern District, but he was so good. He was a top student, top schools, top everything, went to Sullivan and Cromwell, became the head of Sullivan and Cromwell, came down here, was Securities and Exchange Commission, ran it for 4 years during my term, like impeccably, beautiful job. He did an incredible job. And we went to court, and the judges, Democrat judges, voted that he could. That's the only way you get by it. But generally speaking, you can't do that because you'll have judges from the other party. So Jay Clayton just got approved, and he's in, but he didn't get approved by the senators. He got approved by the court system in New York, which was a great thing. And I had a big victory in New York, I might add. I saved myself $500 million with a fake, corrupt attorney general, a really corrupt person with a corrupt judge who was disgraceful, and they're being mauled right now by everybody. Just, it's so corrupt, and it kept business out of New York, stuff like that. But the appellate division vacated all of that stuff that you read about, and we're going to do a big number on that whole thing. You can't have a corrupt court system. You can't have that. You have to have borders, and you have to have a free press. Otherwise, you don't have a country. But you'll be hearing about the blue slipping, because if you have not, you don't need two senators. You just need one Democrat senator with a Republican. The only person that I can get approved are Democrats or maybe weak Republicans, but we don't want that. But the only person I will be able to get approved in any of those states where you have a Democrat will be, I can't get a U.S. attorney. I can only get a Democrat U.S. attorney. And this is based on an old custom. It's not based on law. And I think it's unconstitutional. And I'll probably be filing a suit on that pretty soon. Yeah, please.
During the campaign, you called Kamala Harris a communist. But the Biden-Harris administration, they never called for nationalizing a private company with the federal government like you're proposing with Intel. What do you say to some who say this is a bit hypocritical? And is this the new way of doing industrial policy?
Yeah, sure it is. I want to try and get as much as I can. If people come in and they need something, as an example, as a real estate person, if I have an agreement and I have any form of a stopgap where I can stop somebody from doing something, right? I have a covenant in an agreement, and they come to me and they say, would like to do something, but you have us restricted. If I do that, they usually have to pay. Now, in the case of Intel, it was interesting, but I hope I'm going to have many more cases like it. Intel came in. I met with the gentleman. I had a lot of respect for him. He came in under a little bit of a cloud. I liked his story. I thought he was good. I think he really means to do a good job with Intel. I said, I'd like to ask whether or not you'd give, because the story, a lot of people said I invested in Intel. I didn't invest, but I invest my heart in it and my soul because I want the country to be strong. But I said, I'd like you to give 10% of Intel to the United States of America.
Now, guys, you guys have been watching our Friday show. You know how important this is. They're saying Donald Trump gets it to the government. No, he is taking 10% of Intel out of the trust, the pay-sewer trust, and giving it to you, the people, guys. This is so huge. I think not many people are really understanding how huge this is, Shady.
I think he's creating the architecture to be bringing a number of these platforms into the realm of a public utility. This is how you would do it. All of these people out there that claim that they're a platform like YouTube, and then they go out and they edit the content, well, then they're not. Okay, they're not offering something to everyone, or they're bound by some other agreement, and you can't operate in America and also be bound by something that doesn't adhere to freedom of speech.
That's right.
Freedom to talk. It's one thing with you're not breaking any rules. You should be able to go out and say anything that you want. And the idea that whenever we go out and talk about in-depth government corruption, we are censored is the actual reason that you shouldn't have censorship.
Exactly right. And then we get an opportunity to be sponsored by somebody that's I would never think would sponsor us that are sponsored. And then we get crap for it, Shady. Nobody is controlling what this show is saying. This show we've been true to Q, even when people weren't, okay? We were true to Q, and we're going to continue to be true to Q. And for somebody wanting to sponsor a Q-centric program, that's pretty huge, guys. I think you guys should be more proud than, saying some of the crap that you guys are saying. Not all of you, just one of you, really.
I'm going to leave what you said in full. It's good.
Yep. Thank you.
To me, to the United States of America. And I said, if you have them as a partner, you have the United States as a partner, I think that would be a very good thing for Intel. And he thought about it a little bit different, and he said, I like that idea very much. We have a deal. And I just made $10 billion or $11 billion for the United States of America. And yeah, there will be other cases if I have that opportunity.
For the United States of America, not the pay-sewer trust. What is the pay-sewer trust? It's called the United States of America and body politic. It's basically your Fortune 500, okay? This is now coming to you. Globalism is over.
It's literally marking that sentiment right there. And the ending of globalism, the idea of Americanism. Americanism should be what exists, not globalism. There's no such thing as globalism. There's a way to do things right, and then there's every other way. And the way to do things right is the way America is doing things, by allowing people to govern themselves. No one else has been able to accomplish that yet, but we're certainly going to stick to our position and implement the fortitude, if you will, to try to generate other countries to decide that they don't want the king and queen, that they don't want the social structure, that they don't want globalism. Americanism isn't about McDonald's. Americanism is about freedom of speech and freedom to defend yourself, and also owning what it is that you buy.
And yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. Back to this important update from President Donald J. We got 10% of intel from the trust, guys.
No, it's going to be more, dude. I think it's going to be Facebook. I think it's going to be Microsoft. I think it's going to be all these companies. If you're going to continue to do business in America, we need a stake. You need to have a stake in America instead of all this numbnuttery globalism stuff that you're doing.
Now, and you listen, it's a Q proof. Do you trust Facebook? Do you trust Twitter? Do you trust Google? Antitrust. Okay?
Boom.
Fixed.
Numbnuttery. I came up with a new word.
This is what bullshittery.
Yeah.
Isn't that what it was? The new word of the day. All right, here we go. Back to President Trump.
And I would do that. And then, you do have stupid people say, oh, that's a shame. It's not a shame. It's called business. If somebody's willing to give you 10% of a company and you're not paying for it, and I will tell you, with a company like Intel, as you know, it's had difficulty. I want them to do well. I want them to do well anyway, but I want them to do well in particular now.
But isn't public ownership of a private company a new way of doing business in the business of the United States? Isn't that what you were
So are
sort of projecting?
tariffs. So are tariffs. So, as you know, the stock market went up almost 1,000 points on Friday, and it went up not because of this very, I think, terrible. Hello. Who is that back there? All right, get out of the room. It went up because of something much different. It went up because it was announced, CBO announced the numbers, and as you know, they gave no credit to tariffs. They said they made a mistake, that the trade deficit will be reduced because of Trump's tariffs, will be reduced by $4 trillion, right? Is that what they said, right? They said $4 trillion, and the market went up like a rocket ship because the tariffs are good. Well, tariffs aren't that usual. If the 7 wars I stopped, 4 of them were because of the fact that I had tariffs and trade. And I was able to say, well, if you do this, if you go fight and you want to kill everybody, that's okay. But I'm going to charge you each 100% tariff when you trade with us. You know what? They all gave up. I stopped 7 wars. Numerous of them was because of tariffs. So, you never knew the word tariff. It didn't exist really, essentially, in this country until actually in the 1870s up till 1913 it existed. And we were the richest country. We were richer then, proportionately, than at any time in the history of our country. And then, stupidly, in 1913, they said, let's go to the income tax way of life. Let the people pay instead of foreign countries. No. We're taking in trillions of dollars in tariffs, and we're stopping wars because of tariffs. So that's not so normal either. But you know what? Other countries did it to us, and now we're doing it to other countries.
You ruled out boots on the ground in Ukraine, but how would air support as part of a security guarantee be any different? Those U.S.
Well, you really went from one question to the next. You go from one. I expected he'd at least challenge you. Now we're talking about boots on the ground.
But U.S. air assets over the skies of Ukraine as part of a security guarantee, wouldn't those U.S. airmen also be?
Well, you don't know what security guarantee is because we haven't even discussed the specifics of it, and we'll see. Number one,
you don't even know the security guarantee because you're making shit up.
And just make it up as they go along. A lot like Alex Jones out there.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat my neighbor, Shady.
Just make it up and see what sticks.
No, you gotta eat your neighbor in Ukraine.
Flynn's going to go out there on OAN in front of everybody on TV and tell everybody he's discreetly advising Trump's administration.
Yeah.
It's awful discreet.
Yeah, discreet. I'm discreet. Operators do not never divulge.
Tell me you're lying without telling me you're lying.
Follow the eyebrows, Shady. That's all you got to do.
Get right off the cliff.
Europe is going to give them significant security guarantees, and they should because they're right there. But we'll be involved from the standpoint of backup. We're going to help them. And I think if we get a deal, and I think we will, but if we get a deal, you're not going to, I don't believe you're going to have much of a problem. But we'll back it up because I want to stop seeing people being killed. You know, when Biden was here, he gave $350 billion. You know this from covering business. $350 billion to Ukraine. I said that Zelensky's the greatest salesman I think I've ever met, better than P.T. Barnum, because he'd come to the country, he'd walk out with $50 billion every time. He actually came here once, he walked out with $100 billion. We're up to $350 billion. I got $1 trillion worth of rare earth that we have from the country because I felt badly for our taxpayer, but I did something else at the NATO meeting. They are wealthy countries, but they weren't paying, and we don't pay any money to Ukraine anymore. Do you know that? In fact, it's the opposite. They request through NATO, we deal with NATO. We don't deal really with Ukraine. NATO requests missiles. They want patriots. They want missiles. We give the missiles to NATO. NATO pays us in full and does what they want. I mean, I think they give them mostly they can do other things with them too, because we're dealing with NATO. We pay no money to Ukraine. We gave $350 billion to Ukraine. You know, if we didn't give that kind of money, and I was the one that gave the javelins, if you remember. I gave the javelins. They were very effective. They say Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. They were very effective with those tanks right at the beginning. But you would have never had a war if I were president. You would have never had a war. Just to finish, we spend no money on Ukraine anymore. We were getting fleeced by a president that didn't know what he was doing. To be honest, I don't blame Ukraine. I mean, if they come and ask for $100 billion, then they get it. But we were in for $350 billion. Now, we make money. I don't want to make money on Ukraine. I want the war to end because I want to save all those lives. I want to just say, but just so you understand, we're no longer losing money on that thing. We were losing money hand over fist. And now we don't lose any money. Now we sell weapons to NATO. Because NATO agreed, because of me, to go to 5%, they had 2% and didn't pay. Now they have 5% and they're all paid up. So they have trillions of dollars and they give us that money. But I really want the war to end, and we're going to get it ended.
Mr. President, this is a historic summit here with Ukrainian President Zelensky, European leaders all met here with you at the White House. You said you wanted to get this done bilateral as soon as possible. Have you spoken to Putin since last Monday?
Yeah, I have.
What is your conversation? Can you share?
Every conversation I have with him is a good conversation, and then unfortunately a bomb is loaded up into Kiev or someplace, and then I get very angry about it. I think we're going to get the war done. It's tough. I thought that would be, of the 7 that I settled, I thought that would be the easiest of the group. See, you never know what's going to happen. You know, war, strange things happen in war. The fact that he went to Alaska, our country, I think was a big statement that he wants to get it done. That was not easy for him to go to Alaska, you know, for him to come here. But the fact that he showed up on a very successful day, it was a very successful day for other things. Because, you know, we're also talking about missiles, nuclear. We're talking about a lot of different things. We're talking about limiting nuclear weapons. We'll get China into that. We have the most. Russia has the second most, and China has third, but China is way behind, but they'll catch us in 5 years. We would like to denuclearize. It's too much power, and we talked about that also. That's part of it, but we have to get the war over with.
On Baltimore, sir. Thank you. On Baltimore, you said that you are going to have to reconsider bridge funding. Is that contingent on Westmore cleaning up the streets?
No, we were very generous to him on a bridge. You know, a boat ran into a bridge and the bridge came down like I've never seen anything. The boat was just, it just shows you the mass of that boat, the power of that boat. You know, people were up on that bridge, painters, they were painting the bridge and they were watching it happen. And they thought they were very safe. They all died. They were painting the bridge, can you imagine? And they watched the boat. The engines were off. And they watched the boat. And the power of that boat, the mass of that boat, went right through that steel just like it was nothing. It's amazing. It's called mass. Mass is a big deal. But the mass of that boat, those people all died. But they thought they were totally safe. They were eating their lunch. They were, you know, whatever. They were watching it. They could have gotten off. Somebody did a very good job. A police officer called in and said, close the bridge. And he did it with power. Get everybody off the bridge, close that. That guy should get a medal because he stopped the bridge. A lot of people would have died. A lot more people would have died. The ones that died were the workers on the bridge. And they thought there was no danger because, you know, it's a big steel bridge. And it came down like toothpicks. It was incredible to watch that. It was just, and they died. They all died. But that police officer, again, the police do a great job. The police officer did an amazing job. And I heard the tapes. He would say, get everybody off. Most people wouldn't have said that. You know, when you see a thing like that, you assume it's going to, you know, tap the bridge and it's going to be rebuffed. The thing just came down. I've never seen anything like it. So he did a good job. In fact, I think we should get him in for a medal. The man that gave the warning, I listened to him. Everybody get off, screaming. Everybody off. He had the sense to realize that this could be a catastrophe as opposed to a ship that, because the engines weren't working, it was just floating. It's an amazing thing that a thing floating like that with no power just knocked it right down like it was nothing.
So
let's do that. Let's give him a medal. I've been thinking about that.
Mr. President, do you plan to investigate Chris Christie?
Say what?
Do you plan to investigate Chris Christie?
Look, Chris is a slob.
Yes.
Everybody knows it. I know Chris better than anybody in the room. I always felt he was guilty. But what he did is he took the George Washington Bridge, which is very serious. He closed down the George Washington Bridge. And you had medical people, you had ambulances caught up. This thing was closed down. And obviously he knew about it. But he blamed the young lady that worked for him and another person, and they got into a lot of trouble. She ultimately was, I don't know, exonerated, but she got out of it a little bit. But she went through hell. She was a young mother, nice person. I knew her a little bit. And another man went to jail, and Chris got off. And so when I listened to Chris speak his hate, I say, oh, what about the George Washington Bridge? You know, tell me about the George Washington Bridge. He blamed other people, but he knew all about it. So no, I don't know if they want to look at it. It's not for me. If they want to look at it, they can. You can ask Pam. I think we have other things to do, but I always thought he got away with murder.
Mr. President, you plan to make an endorsement in the Texas Senate.
In addition to that, Shady Groove, Chris Christie and Reince Priebus all helped Trump pick his first cabinet of losers, okay? Most people don't understand that. Chris Christie was... Trump had lunch with Chris Christie and said, hey, now that I fired Flynn, I'm off the hook with Russia, right? Chris Christie said, no, General Flynn is going to be like the gum on the bottom of your shoe. You're never going to be able to get rid of him, and don't talk about him in Russia. So that's what you've got going against your president, Shady.
Yeah, and then now we're seeing what would have happened had they actually put people in his administration that were functional people, right? I mean, they did have that option. Instead, they decided to load his whole cabinet up with people that were going to undermine him, attack him, leak information to the media, and try to make the whole situation about themselves as opposed to about the greatest president in history.
And that's the Scaramucci model. Scaramucci, right. Just type Scaramucci and QAGG.news. Go find that one with ABC linked article. All of those people were put in by Chris Christie and Reince Priebus, okay? And you'll know some of the names, okay? You'll know Hope Hicks. You'll know Omarosa. You'll know General Flynn. You'll know Steve Bannon. You'll know all of them, guys. And it's a Scaramucci play. And it is a Q-proof, guys.
It's the way that they utilize the offices of the people around the president to control a president. And they've been doing it for years and years and years. You're currently witnessing an administration for the first time in history that in any of our lifetimes that did not have these people in control of the people that were the cabinet members.
That's right. Design Pro said, we knew, you knew, you did know, because we all learned this stuff together.
There's new people here.
We decoded Q. And speaking of Q, I've got another ad here, Shady Grove.
Right.
Because that's what we do around here. And you're going to love it, guys, because set your clocks, mark your calendars, and buckle up for the best NFL primetime football action starting September 4th on Westwood One. You can catch all the bone-crushing hits, last-second heroics, and the edge-of-your-seat action that the NFL Thursday, Sunday, Monday nights have to offer, whether you're tailgating, driving, or chilling at home. Don't miss a single snap. Listen on the NFL app, the Westwood One Sports app at westwoodonesports.com, or just say ALEXA. Open Westwood One Sports. If it's the NFL, it's on Westwood One.
Isn't it a lot less exhausting to just pay attention to what Donald Trump is saying and understand him specifically in real time of what he's saying without any conjecture or anybody like adding to it what it is that they think about what the man is saying? Yeah. Literally, all of you have to see that we are guiding we are following a path of simplicity here. Life is not complicated unless you make it complicated. And the thing that happens is a lot of people that think they're really smart, they try to make themselves sound smart by saying things that they think are smart, but in all reality, they're pretty stupid. And society has been engineered in this way that's kind of stupid. And what you're seeing here, it looks weird because it's common sense. It looks weird because it is something that you might implement these rules, like, strangers can't just walk in the house and party, like, stuff like that.
Yeah, Political Cartoon says, thanks, guys. This show cheered me up because what we're doing is we're trying to understand from what Q taught us, right, to what the president is doing today. Correct. And people are saying that, let me just go to this because I do kind of want to address it because you and I are seeing all these pesky Q proofs. We've got the arm of the Democrat Party Q proof that just happened now. Yep. He said that a couple of times. What?
And the utility, sorry.
Yeah. So this is a Q proof. It's pesky, guys. So buckle up. On 8/24/25 this morning, President Trump posts that the MSM is an arm of the Democrat Party. Wow. You don't say. Arm of the Democrat Party. What do they hide? Conspiracy. Look at this. Okay. It all goes to psychological projection. It talks about all this. Putin is a potent, all this, Putin will collapse the stock market, blah, 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 blah. Fake news, knowingly false narrative pushes. Scandalous media bias, conspiracy, collaboration. What are they hiding? Fake news media is not free and independent. The fake news media equals propaganda arm of the Democrat Party. Okay? They want you divided by race. They want you divided. Look at that, guys. Watergate times 1,000. And now he's talking about shady. I mean, if you look at the post that the president did, it's despite a very high popularity and according to many among the greatest 8 months in presidential history, ABC, NBC, fake news, and two of the worst, most biased media networks in history give me 97% bad stories. If that's the case, they are simply an arm of the Democrat Party and should, according to many, have their licenses revoked by the FCC. I would be totally in favor of that because they are so biased and untruthful, an actual threat to our democracy. MAGA, guys.
Another proof.
They just keep going on and on and on.
That's the reason that we decided to do a show, because we knew that this was the way that it was going to unfold. We had no idea when it was going to unfold, but we knew that it would unfold, and now you're currently seeing it unfold.
And I'd like to address this too, Shady, before we get out of here. Absolutely, it's the Q movement. Trust the plan, Operation Trust. Those making money off lying to Americans must be called out. How are we lying to you? Yeah, how are we lying? Lying for what?
Because we're saying that Q is part of President Trump's administration.
And that's not lying. And then Godfrey, we're actually on his podcast. Yep. It's not playing out like they thought it is. Has this guy been paying attention? They didn't count on this many people waking up from the deception. And then somebody was saying that Q is Mossad. It's been proven. Nobody's proven that. You guys are insane. In fact, here's what President Trump actually has to say. You ready? That he had a chance to disavow it.
During the pandemic, the QAnon movement appears to be gaining a lot of followers. Can you talk about what you think about that and what you have to say to people who are following this movement right now?
Well, I don't know much about the movement other than I understand they like me very much. which I appreciate, but I don't know much about the movement. I have heard that it is gaining in popularity, and from what I've heard, these are people that when they watch the streets of Portland, when they watch what happened in New York City in just the last 6 or 7 months, but this was starting even 4 years ago when I came here, almost 4 years, can you believe it? These are people that don't like seeing what's going on in places like Portland and places like Chicago and New York and other cities and states. And I've heard these are people that love our country and they just don't like seeing it. So I don't know really anything about it other than they do supposedly like me.
Yes, they do.
And they also would like to see problems in these areas, like especially the areas that we're talking about, go away, because there's no reason the Democrats can't run a city. And if they can't, we will send in all of the federal, whether it's troops or law enforcement, whatever they'd like, we'll send them in, we'll straighten out their problem in 24 hours or less. Okay?
Well, just real quick, at the crux of the theory is this belief that you are secretly saving the world from this satanic cult of pedophiles and cannibals. Does that sound like something you are behind? Or
Well, I haven't heard that, but is that supposed to be a bad thing or a good thing? I mean, you know, if I can help save the world from problems, I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to put myself out there. And we are, actually. We're saving the world from a radical left philosophy that will destroy this country. And when this country is gone, the rest of the world would follow. The rest of the world would follow. That's the importance of this country. And when you look at some of the things that these people are saying with defund the police and no borders, open borders, everybody just pour right into our country. No testing, no nothing. You know, you talk about testing.
So we'll just leave it at that. But, you know, he could have said, and I'll just read a comment from Herbie Outlaw. He could have just said it's a bunch of malarkey, but he didn't. Okay?
That's what Biden said.
Well, he's wearing a mask and Gitmo shot 5 times.
And that's a bunch of malarkey.
That's a bunch of malarkey. And Shady Grove, with that, we love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning into the MG show. The truth is bad enough. Q was an operation to wake me up. Q was you know, people say, who is Q? I saw John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt out there saying that. But you know what's even more dangerous? It's what is Q. The information that we all dug on is what they're really afraid of, because they don't want a public that is actually enlightened and understanding things that is happening right now. Okay, it got put on hold for 4 years essentially, and now Q proofs every day. Shady Groove, every single day. This types of proof, it happens every day.
You know what's bad for the deep state? What's bad for the deep state is an anonymous poster coming out in support of Donald Trump in a back channel to we the people around the media to communicate how subversive that the people in charge actually are, and who the people that run the world actually are, and how they are also attempting to destroy the last bastions of freedom here in America. Unless we all stand up together and say, we the people are the cure and fix it, that's what's going to happen to you. I think that we decided to do the earlier, not the latter, and thanks to each and every one of you, we are right here at the tip of the spear on the MG show of this fight for Donald Trump every single day.
And Q changed my life for the better. Herbie Outlaw says Q changed lives for the better. It sure did. Press 17 if Q changed your life to the better as we go out with...
I wouldn't have met him.
The truth is bad enough,
I would
Shady.
never met this guy without Q.
I don't know. He did change my life.
I like him.
I like you
Pretty
too.
good guy.
And I love all you guys. See you guys tomorrow. What a day. Holy moly. We'll have more tomorrow.
And just like I've told you for many, many years, you don't have to lie about things. You don't have to sensationalize them. You don't have to make anything up. You don't have to invent figures. The truth is bad enough. The truth's bad enough. And if you tell the truth, you have credibility. And credibility means people will listen to you. Credibility means things will be tended to. When you lie and people find out that you're lying, and it's easy, it is so easy to discover, then you have no credibility. You become a liar. You become somebody with no confidence factor. You become a rumor monger. You become a minion of the old, who was it? Who was it that was billed as the great deceiver? I wonder who that was. See, whenever you spread a rumor, whenever you tell a lie, whenever you stretch the truth or sensationalize something, and I don't care what the reason is that you do it, you become an ally of the great deceiver. Somebody called him Heinrich Himmler. Somebody else called him
General
Lucifer.
Flynn.
Somebody else called him Satan. You can call him anybody you want. But listen to me very carefully. He's not anybody I want around me. His minions are not anybody that I want to know or be associated with or hear from. His minions and allies and supporters are not the people that I care about. You understand? You want to be on his side? Stay the hell away from me. Don't call me. Don't write me. Don't reference me. Don't email me. I don't want anything to do with you. If you're a spreader of rumors and lies and disinformation and sensationalization and all of this other bullshit. Do you hear me, sheeple? I don't know why it makes people so angry. You know, if all get off your butts and do the same research that I do, you would know the same things that I know, and you shouldn't be angry or jealous or upset. What you should be is thankful for having forewarning so that you can act upon it. But do you ever act upon anything? Have you ever? Will you ever? That's the question. That is the hinge upon which the door to the future operates. You don't know that. You don't give a damn, probably. Because to oil the hinge and make the door work and make it all better, you gotta get up off your ass and do something. Oh, heaven forbid you have to do that. Oh my goodness, you might even have to take some kind of personal risk. You might even get on somebody's list. Oh, people might even start to respect you because you cease to become worthless. Who am I to dream like that? Come on, Bill. I mean, you know, you're really getting away with yourself here, dreaming like that. Come on, Bill. Get real.
www.mg.show. Boom.